Joined by Florida Republican Congressman Ron DeSantis, who is on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, welcome. Good to have you here this morning.
Good morning.
You know, we just heard some very strong language from the Canadian Prime Minister. He said the planet is descending into savagery. He talked about the way that members of ISIS treat women and children and his concerns really for the world and his thanks for the people who are defending us. Much stronger language, you would have to note, than what we hear from our president here at home.
Well, without question. We had an attack at Fort Hood in 2009, and to this day, our government says that that was workplace violence. And this is an individual who's not only been convicted, he's been open about his jihadist sympathies and why he did it. And so I'm very encouraged to hear Prime Minister Harper really speak the truth and tell the people of Canada the threat that we face. And it's interesting, you guys mentioned that this individual had been tracked. The Canadian government had pulled his passport, and yet he still committed the attack. Our government is not pulling passports from Americans who have joined ISIS. In fact, the FBI director said just a couple weeks ago on CNN that if they join ISIS but they have a valid passport, then they are entitled to return to our country. And I don't think the American people want them returning to our country.
Yeah, I mean, there may be valid reasons not to pull passports if we're hot on someone's trail and we want to watch what they're doing. This man was tipped off to the fact that he was on a list by having his passport pulled. And then you get to the next layer of this where you ask yourself, what do you do after that? How do you track these people? Because there's no doubt in my mind, and I hate to even say this, but that we will likely have a similar situation here at home. We've already had our terror threat warning raised for law enforcement in this country, for members of the media. We're even on that list. What do you think about that in terms of how seriously we're taking all this?
Well, if you have Americans who are going to join ISIS and then they come back, even if they're being tracked, their ideology is not going to want them to be sitting in a house behind a white picket fence. I mean, they're apt to want to do something at some point. It's very difficult to stop that if you're allowing them access into the country to begin with. Then, of course, I think what's going on in the Middle East as ISIS has expanded and gained strength, they have a very robust propaganda network. And so what they can do is inspire people who are attracted to that ideology to act here in our country and in other parts of the world.
So members of Congress who feel as you do that not enough is being done and that maybe we should pull passports and take a cue from our allies in Canada and in the UK, are you doing anything to make that happen, to push that forward?
Yeah, there are bills in both the House and the Senate. Right now, the government has the authority to pull the passports. They just haven't done it. And so these bills would make it mandatory to do so. And I think that would be a good step. It's more than just the Americans, because you have all these folks, ISIS fighters from Western countries, so they have passports from places like Great Britain or France. Of course. They qualify for visa waivers, so they do not need a visa to get to our country. All they need to do is buy a plane ticket.
Understood. Congressman DeSantis, thank you very much for being with us today.